Well, I want to talk a little bit about something I've been thinking about with this stuff that happened with Cyprus. You know, it could be like a big drama story, and I noticed a lot of people are pretty silent on it, which is good. Because maybe there's something to it. I usually notice when there's a lot of people going, the sky's falling, and nothing's gonna happen. Just like silver's going to be $100 in no time, $400, and now Max Kaiser's talking about Bitcoin. He's full of shit. But that's on a different subject. What happened not too long ago? I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Russia basically banned foreign banks from operating in the country, in Moscow. So, hey, maybe this is in retaliation for that, because actually, even if you look on Business Insider, which is more mainstream, they talk about the biggest account holder on Cyprus was a Russian oligarch with an insane real estate portfolio. So, and you think about what happened a couple years ago, that the U.S., the Russia and China is no longer using the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency, and that Russia was lightening up on U.S. dollars. So it could be a thing between East and West. And of course, I saw that thing on Zero Hedge about, I don't know, it could be bullshit. Russia's sending 5 permanent warships to the Mediterranean. He says, what next? A base near Cyprus, a naval base near Cyprus, or whatever. But I do know for a fact, I was kind of glad King World News put that on there, because I didn't want to say too much, but hey, I guess it's public information. There is some big, serious bucks going through Cyprus that are Russian companies and run by former KGB. And they became, that's basically what happened. Communism fell apart and went to supposed capitalism. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's the same crap as before. And like the big KGB guys like Putin, and he's an oligarch, man. He's not poor. It's bullshit. Some of these Russians on the internet got mad at me for saying the guy's got money on believing in Western propaganda. No, that guy's loaded. He's controlling a lot of stuff, man. He's loaded. But I think there's people behind him that even have more. But they'll cut each other's throats. And they like dealing with the West because the West has the money and the banks and stuff. But Cyprus was the tax haven. But there's a lot of shit that goes on. I was surprised. I found some stuff out. I could actually I wish I could talk with somebody else that I was working with somewhat. And I really can't say a lot of this shit. But there's some wild stuff out there, man. I mean, they do have money in derivatives and stuff, and, I personally don't trust that. I personally would, if somebody gave me a slew of money, it would go right into metals. Definitely. And I'd hide it someplace out of state, or maybe even out of country, possibly, like in Canada. But damn, I wouldn't keep it in derivatives. But there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. There's trading platforms out there. They call it the private placement platform, PPP. There's inside trading platforms. There was like inside deals that happened with when they had BP. They had a problem with the Gulf about shorting stocks. They were able to do that ahead of time. There was Goldman Sachs did stuff. They sold off stuff. They shorted the stocks. But there's even stuff that went on where there was like closed things that people can get. There's a lot of stuff that goes on like that, and supposedly it's all illegal, That's just how it is, because they make the laws, they're that powerful, they make the laws. But I think this was maybe something that was counteracting something else, because it looks like there's a big competition going on between East and West financially, and, that could heat up into something else, who knows? Because Russia did state they don't want any Western banks in Moscow. They wanted them out of the country. They don't want any foreign banks in there because they're too tough to deal with. So then all of a sudden now, 2 or 3 weeks later, you get this deal with Cyprus. I don't know, is that a conspiracy or whatever? It could be. It could be. They figured, well, you guys fucked us out of doing business in Moscow. You only want Russian banks there. Well, guess what? We're going to take 9.9% of your money, well, your companies that are in Cyprus. How's that? Could be. I don't know. But it's not too far of a stretch of an imagination to see that. So, there could be some more cracks coming down in the financial system. And you know what actually makes me think there's going to be more cracks in the financial system? It's because I'm not hearing the 50 million people screaming about this shit right now or making the associations I made. That's why I think it might come down. Because whenever the other guys like Alex Jones gets on there, or even, I don't know, Brother John F., SGT Bull, Lindsey Williams, all those people get on here, oh, the sky's falling, then I know nothing's going to happen. But I don't think this is going to happen right away. But then you got this other deal, and it's interesting. I forgot who it was. It was some German guy. Everybody's probably getting pissed off at each other because the money's not there anymore. Maybe that's what the deal is. But this German, I forgot who it was, but it was like some German guy said that he suggested that they should do this with the Italian accounts and the Spanish accounts. Because I guess they're getting sick of bailing out, those countries. Because Germany's actually holding up a lot of stuff that's going on in Europe, right? So what the hell's going on here, man? Now tell me, is that not bullish for silver and gold? It should be. It should be. Because what actually is going to cause those metals to go way up is a panic. It's not going to be because some fundamental shit about how much silver's left on the earth. It's going to be a panic. If everybody starts getting scared of the banks and everybody's like scared what currency we can go to, they're going to start going into silver and gold, and they're going to go up. But shit like that doesn't happen immediately, but it's going to start happening piece by piece, and that's what I've always said. Why the metals are going to go up? A panic. Brother John F. talks about the fundamentals and so much silver in the earth, and that stuff is just so much bullshit. Because I'm going to tell you right now that if you just take silver as a metal and you say there's some uses it can't do without, maybe there's some uses, but there's a lot of uses they'll find alternative ways. There's always this thing called demand destruction. Even if like oil got up to $200 a barrel, watch, there'd be all kinds of ways that we can transport ourselves around without using gasoline, and maybe then it'd be growing hemp for real so we can get rid of a lot of plastics. But there's always a way around it, Back during the Roman times, they could never figure out how they could do without salt. Salary, salt, the word, worth your salt. And sal was, came from salary, which is the word from salt. It was like that was the oil of the time. No, you can't do without it. Well, guess what? We found other meat preservatives. We got refrigeration, freeze-dried food. That if you didn't have salt, you wouldn't be able to travel far. It was almost like oil back then. Same with silver. If it gets too high, but what's actually going to drive it up to insane prices is a panic. So now, people are probably wondering, well, I move my money here, but then is it safe there? If I move my money here, is it safe there? If I move it to this currency, is that currency safe? Some of this stuff's going to start going on. People are going to start saying, maybe I should have maybe 10% of my money in gold and silver. Well, even if you had 10% of the people did 10% of their money in gold and silver, that would drive the metals way up. And then once you see them going up, then you get all the people on there. Eric Sprott will be telling, oh yeah, it's going up. It's been a great investment. And then they'll get more suckers in there high, So don't sell it now. Don't sell it now. But it's interesting that there could be some more intramural competition going on here behind the scenes in Europe, and also competition going on between East and West. Russia threw out the Western banks, and a few weeks later you got this deal with Cyprus, right? Cyprus has all these Russian oligarchs in there, right? In their money. They're going to get their money confiscated, a good part of it, right? 10% almost. And then you got this one German guy talking about doing the same thing with the Italian and Spanish banks. It's going to create some bank runs. That's what I think. Maybe not dramatic bank runs where, they're standing all around the line. But then again, you don't know. When something happens a little bit, it gets more and more and more. It depends on how fast they can react to it. But people are going to start figuring out. Put a little bit of money into gold and silver. Most people aren't doing that. Most people aren't doing that. But they're going to figure it out. So, future does look bright, and they ain't going to be able to manipulate it down. Don't worry about that shit. They ain't going to be able to manipulate. So what? Let them manipulate it down. If you had 10% of the people getting 10%, putting 10% of their money into gold and silver, where are they going to get it? Where are they going to get it at that price? Where are they going to get it at that price? The mines ain't even making money. Where are they going to get it? So, the spot price and the physical price aren't going to separate, but not too much, maybe with some collector coins and shit like that, but generally speaking, it ain't going to freaking separate. But silver and gold is going to go up because of a panic, and it looks like some of these cracks are in the system right now. And the fact that the usual people aren't talking too much about this shit, that's a good sign, because I don't trust those drama freaks. Anytime they say the sky's falling, I was thinking, oh, it ain't. It ain't going to happen. But I think there's cracks in the system, and gold and silver's looking good. So just hang on, man. It's going to keep going up.